All right, we were back with another pick'em video. Going to be going over my favorite plays for the NBA today. We got a decent amount of games. There's 8 games today, so definitely some value on the board. Now, there aren't a lot of fancy scores out or things like that, so it's something I'll be attacking a little bit more heavily later on in the day. But it's almost noon, so I wanted to get the video out for you guys. And I like 3 plays right now, so that's what the ones I'm going to be giving to you. So before we get into things, do want to ask you guys to subscribe, like the video so more people can see it, and then comment down below. It just tells YouTube to push this video out a little bit more. But if you're new, we go over our plays every single game. I visualize them. I show you exactly what they are and what they were. And 3 for 5. This was a discount, so really 2 for 4 on the video picks from last time. Tyler Hero, I kind of talked to my Discord. This one almost looked like a trap. It looked too good to pass up on. It looked the hit rate was incredible. The matchup with Orlando, with potentially Franz Wagner missing another game. Now he did end up playing for Orlando, and Tyler Hero didn't do anything. I think he had like 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, something like that. So he went well underneath there. And Orlando really took care of business. They're looking good with Franz back in the lineup. We'll be able to see, I probably won't be betting on Orlando games for a few days until I get, a little bit more data with Franz Wagner back in the lineup. Markelle Fultz is starting again. So that was a tough one for sure. Bridges and Paul George, though, pretty easy hit here. Now, Mikal was the guy that scored for a majority of this. He had 26 points. Paul George only had 12. And it unfortunately was the Russell Westbrook show there. So under 21.5, he ended up scoring like 23 points. So he had a great game, played 31 minutes. He hadn't been playing he hadn't been playing a ton of minutes. He was getting like 14 to 16 minutes. With Zubats out, that did go up. But when Plumlee came back, I assumed that would kind of, come back down to the median where he was around 16 minutes, at least not more than 20 minutes. But he played really well, and the Clippers came back, handled their business. And then Durant over 5.0 in the first quarter. That was pretty easy. He ended up having at least 35 points. I know he was cooking early on, so that was an easy hit there. And then Amon-Ra was actually ended up being a really big sweat, even on the discount here. Now, his normal line was at like 90, and he sold a lot of my slips yesterday. Some 4-man slips. He was the only guy that missed. The guy had a 6-man slip where he was the only one that missed. So, I'm glad he got there on the discount, but didn't end up getting his normal line. But yeah, we'll try to continue this and do better. But let's jump over to the board, and I will say we're doing this on Underdog just because I'm getting a discount on one of the lines over there. I will show you all these plays on PrizePicks as well. But again, we're just getting like a 0.5 discount on Underdog. So if you're not on Underdog, definitely go hit my link in the description. You'll get the 100% deposit match. They have Freaky Friday, which is kind of like Taco Tuesday over on PrizePicks. So it's nice to be able to get these promotions on different days for these different platforms. And they also have live betting. So if you're watching a game, maybe one of your bets just lost and you want to make some sort of live bet, it's fun to mess around with those live bets. So it's the same concept as PrizePicks, fixed payout systems, but a little bit different. So the first guy I want to talk about, I think this line is going to be moved at some point, is this 12.5 rebounds and assists line. Now it is gray, so I'm assuming this might be moving too. This is why we're going over to Underdog, because they still had this at 12.5, and it's nice to be able to line shop. But I'll show it on PrizePicks as well. This is 12.0 on PrizePicks. Again, we were able to get it 12.5 about 30 minutes ago, so this might be moving, but under 12.5, I really like for Wembanyama going up against Joel Embiid. Now, the biggest thing here is the matchup. I think Embiid probably has 100 pounds on this guy. He's been playing extremely well, but the limited minutes, under 28, and that's being generous. He's usually a little bit less than that. Under 28 minutes, this hit rate's, very, very good. And again, going up against Embiid could get into foul trouble. This could be a blowout. It's like a 15-point spread. So I'm really liking the under for Wembanyama. But let's go to Outlier, check out what he's been doing, recently, and we'll look at the matchup and things like that. Because I think this is a line that you could still play at 12. Again, it's not going to be a value play, or as good a value play it was at 12.5. But that's just kind of an incentive. Maybe check out the Discord. We have a lot of fun over there. And I posted this, a few minutes ago, 30 minutes ago or so. So hopefully some people taking advantage of that. But let's go to 12.5 if I can find it. Rebounds and assists. We'll check out the hit rate. Doesn't seem like a lot for a 7'5" guy or whatever he is. I really can't find this line. Here it is, 12.5 right here. But under in 7 of the last 10 games. So love to see that. This was just over as well against Cleveland. And then in 2023, you're going to see the hit rate gets a little bit worse, 50% on the year. Some of these games going much over, but you will see the minutes drop off pretty drastically right here. And that's when they instated the limits minute for him. And again, it was supposed to be 20 to 24. Now he has been exceeding that recently, but he hasn't gone over 28 minutes in, weeks, actually a month. So in games that he's not getting more than 28 minutes, we'll bring this all the way down to 28. This is a 76% hit rate. And again, we're talking about Joel Embiid. He's not the best rebounder in the league, but he's a big body and he's going to be able to move Wembanyama around. Again, I think these guys might have literally like an 80-pound difference or something crazy like that. And Embiid's not a small guy either at 7'1" or 7 foot, whatever he is. So, Wembanyama played well against Giannis. Was one of these red games against Giannis, I want to say. Maybe not. Well, he played well against Giannis when they matched up, so maybe he stepped up to the occasion. But again, we know how Embiid plays. Not only is this a 14-point spread and 14.5-point spread, and this one could get out of hand, limiting his minutes even a little bit more. But with Embiid foul baiting all the time, you know how he plays. He's going to up fake. He's going to go into contact and fall on the ground like he's 150 pounds. But that could go Wembanyama into foul trouble. I do want to point out he's not a guy that typically gets into foul trouble. He's a smart player, but Embiid gets a lot of these guys into foul trouble. So I like Wembanyama. You can see odds are looking really, really good. So I was hoping to get this one out to you guys before it got pushed. I'm not trying to hide anything. This is getting pushed to 12.0 right now. That is what is happening. And when I clicked record, this wasn't there. So unfortunate there. I'll go ahead and refresh even just to see it for you guys. But yeah, I think this is one we could still take at 12. We've been seeing him go under this line, not against Embiid. Yep, there it is at 12.0. So it did get bumped down. But we'll go over to his line over here. Again, I was on underdog just because this line wasn't still on underdog for a little bit. But Wembanyama, let's go check him out at that 12.0 line. If it's saying on the over, I'm not going to go over. But yeah, so the over, quote unquote, is now kind of favored at 50.09%. That's really just a 50-50 line. But at 12.5, it was at like 53.45% or something. Now, I will say this is probably still on Sleeper, still on Chalkboard at 12.5. So that's somewhere you could definitely take this line if you agree with my data and analysis and things like that. So definitely check out Sleeper Chalkboard. Again, links in the description for deposit matches. But yeah, this is a great line. I like it. Projection model doesn't like it as much. But again, I'm not hiding anything from you guys. I'll show you what it's saying. They're projecting like 14 or something for the projection model. Where is this? Rebounds and assists. Yeah, they're projecting 14.31. So again, I'm not telling you guys to go over this now that it's bumped down to 12. I still think it could be an unders because I like the matchup. So yeah, this is one that I was really excited about. 12.0. I still would take it probably. I'm just not as excited about it. But both PrizePicks and Underdog now have this at 12.0. But the next guy, this is going to be available on PrizePicks and Underdog. This is more of a personal play. I think he's going to torch this team like he's been torching them all season. It's Damian Lillard. It seems like Giannis is absolutely still the main guy in Milwaukee. But Dame has his moments, and against his Pistons team has been one of those teams. Going over on 26.5, just his points line. He's over on PrizePicks at the same line. Looks like it's one of those fire lines. I hate this Populars tab. You never know if it gets bumped, if a line gets bumped, if you're going under. It's very misleading, I think. But 26.5, he just cooked these guys for 45. But we'll check out his page just in general. He's had like 30 plus on these guys 3 times this year. So Detroit is a great matchup for him. I don't know why I'm typing in Detroit. Damian Lillard, see what he's been doing so far this year. The hit rate's not incredible, just in terms of this line in general. But against this team, he loves to play them. So 26.5. We can see that we're going over here. It's very slightly favored on the over. 4 of the last 10 games, he's gone over this. And again, one of these games was just a 27-point game. But this is the big one, 45 against these guys. They give up a whole bunch of points, 28th allowed in terms of points per game given up. Still no Cade Cunningham. Isaiah Stewart, I think, is a game-time decision for this one as well. Cade's a game-time decision, so that'd be interesting. But it won't matter. Head-to-head, these guys have played 3 times this year. 34, 33, and 45, well over this 26.5 mark. And again, it looks like Giannis just says, hey, you got these guys. on the year, 49% over this. So it's not the best hit rate in the world. And it's also a 12.5 point spread. So he might not get his full allotted minutes. But again, Giannis against these guys takes a back seat. He's been dishing the ball really well against him. If you look at Giannis's assist line, I'm not sure what it's at, but that could be something you want to look at. I know he had like 10 assists against these guys last time, and a decent amount the time before that. But yeah, loving Damian Lillard at this spot. In terms of the optimizer, again, it's not one of the best lines on the board right now for the NBA, but it's something that I love the matchup in, and I think that he's going to have another great game against these guys. Damian Lillard, his best line on the over is 26.5. Again, we're only seeing 51.62% chance to hit. Again, it's still favored on the over, but nothing too crazy. Looks like Pinnacle's got this at minus 128. FanDuel has this at 27.5 already. That's already bumped up. And then everywhere else has this around, 20. If it's at 26.5, it's around minus 125 odds or something like that. So Bovada also has this bumped to 27.5. So it's good to see that. We might be getting a discount on this line, and this one could be trending upwards as kind of lines adjust. But I'm loving this for Dame. I think it's another projection model one that they don't really like. Damian Lillard over here, 26.5. Yeah, they don't like it. Again, 24.83 is the projection model. Want to show you guys this again. I want to show you all the data I can give you. This is another one that the projections are not loving. But with the hit rates and all the things like that, I love the matchup, and it's a great spot for Dame in my opinion. So those are our first two plays. I'll get the Wemby line over on underdog as well. Wembanyama. Damn, I really wanted to get you guys that 12.5 line for him. But again, 12s are right. Would I say 100% take it? No. But if you like the analysis and it makes sense from what I'm saying, go for it for sure. But let's go to our last play. It's going to be Emmanuel Quickley, someone that's playing really, really well since being traded to Toronto, taking on a bigger workload. But I like this 10.5 rebounds and assist line. We just saw him, I think he had like 11 assists against the New York Knicks, one of the better defenses in the league. Now, he did have that incentive to play well against these guys because he was back in Madison Square Garden, the team that just traded him. So obviously he gets that little extra oomph. But going against Memphis here, 7-point spread in this game. So Memphis is 7-point underdogs. They have a million injuries, so it's a totally different team than we've been seeing. And also there's no Pascal Siakam now for the Raptors. So Quickley without Pascal Siakam, and like after this trade playing with Scotty Barnes and playing with RJ Barrett together, I do have those stats popped up real quick for us. So this is with Scotty Barnes on the court, RJ Barrett on the court, and Emmanuel Quickley on the court. And then without Jakob Poeltl and Pascal Siakam, Siakam just traded to the Pacers, and Poeltl is injured for this game. They've played about 96 minutes, or they have played 96 minutes total over the span of 9 games. And in those 9 games, in those 96 minutes, we've seen Emmanuel Quickley per 36 minutes go for 5.6 rebounds and 9.8 assists. So I really like this. Again, we don't have a whole bunch of full game history data or data history to look at without Siakam especially. But really liking the per 36 minute mark, 5.6 and 9.8. That would be like 15, almost 16 RA for us. And we're at 10.5. So looking really good in terms of the per 36 minutes. In terms of the minutes that he's projected to get today is probably around there. He's been getting a decent, wrong team. He's been getting a decent amount of minutes. This wants to load. They're projecting 32. So again, not the full 36, but right there. And yeah, loving these for 36 minutes stats, but we will check him out, see what he's been doing lately. Again, we just know that he played really well against the Knicks, but we'll check him out quickly over here. 10.5 rebounds and assists popping up right here. The hit rate on this one is, again, not going to be the best in the world. But the biggest thing is, Siakam just got traded. I believe this is the only game they've played while he got traded or since he got traded. Maybe this game as well. But the matchup here is incredible. Rebounds allowed 27th, assists allowed is 11th. Now you have to take this for a grain of salt as well because Memphis is so injured. They're pretty much a totally different team. But I did look into it. The past 7 games, they are giving up a whole bunch of assists, especially to point guard. It's like 10 point something in terms of assists to point guards. And they're also giving up like 5.5 rebounds to point guards. So I end up closing that tab, I guess. But Memphis's new look lineup is still giving up a bunch of these stats. So not the best in terms of a hit rate. But this is something that I'm thinking about personally this is something that I think Quickley will be able to get. And this line might be up to 11.5, 12.5 over the course of the next few games. So assuming this one stays close, maybe Toronto, takes control early. That would kind of suck. And if Quickley gets limited minutes here, but I think he'll get his full run, and I think he should be able to crush this line against this team. So liking Quickley, that'll be our third play. Just do want to check the optimizer. It's another one that's not. It is on the over, but not a ridiculous amount on the over. Emmanuel Quickley, we're seeing 10.5 rebounds, assists, 52.31% chance to hit. DraftKings, I love to see that because DraftKings is very player props oriented with DFS and stuff. They're at minus 140 on this line. FanDuel's at minus 130. It's actually kind of funny. 120, minus 120, minus 130, minus 140 all across the main websites or platforms you see. Minus 129 on Caesars, so that one's kind of right in the middle. So I like this line. It's definitely favored on the over, and it makes sense to me that he would be going over this line. But another one I want to point out on the projection model, this is not something that happens typically when I do these videos, but Quickley on his projections, another one that they're not liking at all. Rebounds and assists right here, they're projecting 8.88. So if you're someone that maybe strictly goes off a projection model, you don't like any of these plays. And again, I typically go for plays that, everything's kind of pointing towards the right direction. Sometimes one or two video picks are a little controversial in terms of projection or hit rates or matchup or odds or things like that. But this happens to be that all of them are not liking this via the projection model. But just thinking about the games, thinking about the matchups that I like personally. I watch a lot of basketball, and really liking these plays. So those are the three I'm going with for the video picks. Again, jump in the Discord. I love to talk, props across all different sports. Basketball, even esports recently has been, really huge. Football is still going on with some playoff football. Crazy game last night. But yeah, jump in the Discord. Love to talk stats and stuff down there. There is a premium Discord that I'm a little bit more active in, but the general chat in the normal Discord, I still am definitely in there a little bit. So check those out. Check out any of the video description links down below. If you want to check out any of the tools, this is Outlier, 7-day free trial for Outlier. This is DG Fantasy. This is a fantasy optimizer. Another one just like OddsJam. OddsJam has a 7-day free trial and then 25% off your first month if you use my code. DG Fantasy is 25% off. They don't have a free trial, but they do have fantasy scores. Once they start coming out, they have fantasy scores in their lines as well, or in their optimizer. And then this is RotoWire. This app is completely free right now on RotoWire. Highly recommend checking it out. But just hit my link in the description. Just let them know that I sent you there, and this won't be free forever. So those are the plugs for the tools I use. And then for Underdog, again, we did a play on Underdog over there. They're doing 100% deposit match up to $100. They also give you a free square for like a newbie square. Your first play, you'll be able to get a free square on a passing yards, 0.5 yards or something like that, or like 0.5 points for like LeBron James or something. And then Sleeper, if you want to take that 12.5 Wemby line, that's probably over on Sleeper. They're doing a $500 deposit match. Chalkboard, you can do alt lines over there. But yeah, check those out. Helps out the channel. But that will do it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and hopefully we make some money tonight. Peace out.